Before you spend another dime on growth oil or wrap your hair a little tighter tonight, let's talk. Because what you're dealing with as far as breakage and your edges, it's not just about breakage, it's grief. And there's grace for this. Let's restore what life's been pulling out emotionally and spiritually. Hey, I want to welcome you back to the Health Walk Podcast, this space where we get real about womanhood, wellness, and walking with God in every season, especially this messy middle. Today's episode is going to be tender. We're going to be talking about hair trauma and not just what's happening on the outside, but also the inside. If you ever looked in the mirror and felt like your hair was telling a story of loss, exhaustion, or even shame, this one might be for you. We're going to explore why this hits so deep and what's really causing the change and how to show yourself some serious grace while you're walking through the thinning hair and aging. All right, so let's get into it. First, we know that the changes in life and midlife, it's an emotional toll on your hair. And especially for Black women, hair isn't just hair. It's part of our culture, identity, legacy even, and it's a form of communication. It's language, right? How you're styling your hair, you're saying something with it about who you are, what you like. It's a form of expression, I guess is what I'm saying. And I know for me, it seemed like a lot of emphasis I noticed was put on it's like girls who had long hair or quote unquote good hair. It's almost like they were esteemed in a certain way because it's like it somehow the length or the volume of their hair almost it was almost a subliminal message, like they had more value in some context. And so as we're aging and we're losing some of our hair and it's thinning and you're watching it, change in texture and thinning or it's breaking, it's not just frustrating, but it also can feel like grief, right? Like you're losing a part of you in a way. Now, for example, I this like edge obsession that we have, about edges and styling the edges and all these different things. And if you've maybe had thinner edges, you probably have been used to this your whole life. But if it's new to you that your edges are thinner, this can bring a little bit of like anxiety or shame even. And there's a lot of pressure for us to look put together, even when life is falling apart a little bit. So sometimes, it can feel like we're fighting to keep this hair that we had in our youth, be it our edges or whatever, and also fighting for our sanity and for some kind of normal that we're used to, and like none of it is cooperating, right? So I want to talk about some of the root causes that are beyond our hormones that can cause stress, not stress, sorry, can cause some loss of hair and can impact your hair. So, yes, obviously our hormones are a big deal, but they're not the only deal, right? If you have chronic stress in your life, which elevates your cortisol, which wrecks your hair growth cycles. So that's why on this episode, often I will talk about stress and the importance of learning to manage stress and especially eliminating chronic stress in different areas of your life, learning how to navigate that. Not all stress can be eliminated. And I'm not even saying that all stress is bad, but there are some stressors that are unnecessary or prolonged, and everybody's impacted differently. So it's so important to really assess in your life those chronic stressors because they are elevating your cortisol, which is messing with your hair growth cycle. Okay. The second thing that could be really messing with your hair in this midlife is sleep deprivation. We need lots of sleep, ladies. Okay. Try to get that 8 hours. Do the best you can. I know a lot of people say, oh, I don't need much sleep. Trust me. Try it out. Sleep is good for you. Your body gets a chance to restore your skin, your hair, your organs, digestion, all of that gets to restore when you are getting adequate sleep. Also, another thing that is impacting our hair is inflammatory diets. And there are so many things that cause inflammation. Everybody is unique. And so, you know, dairy might cause inflammation in you and not in another person. But there are some things like sugar that can cause inflammation in pretty much everybody. Also, if you don't take in enough water, your scalp health suffers. Okay. So we need water and we need to be mindful of what we're eating. Also, hair health is often of a mirror of internal neglect. And so you need to find ways to care for yourself, not just the external things that can be seen, but the internal things that are unseen that do impact the physical things that we see, okay? So your emotions, your relationships, your your thoughts, especially because a lot of things begin as thoughts. So it's not that, when you notice the changes in your hair, yes, like I said before, hormones are a big deal, but they're not the only deal. And also, it doesn't necessarily mean you need more products, more expensive products, or all these different things. Your products might not be wrong. It's that your lifestyle might be starving your scalp. Okay. So, chronic stress, sleep deprivation, your diet, your water intake, and how you're taking care of your thoughts and of yourself internally. So let's talk about some solutions, how we can stop striving so much and stressing ourselves and start restoring our bodies and our minds. So, number one is rest. Rest is not lazy, right? I talked about in another episode the 7 types of rest. And I'm going to recommend again the book by Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith, The 7 Types of Rest: Physical, Mental, Emotional, Spiritual, Sensory, Creative, and Social. Find ways to rest, not just sleep. Okay. Find things that are taking care of you, the whole you, internally, your mind, your thoughts, your joys, your passions, things like that. Also, consider, there are a lot of hair growth oils out there, and they're wonderful. I'm not saying you should get rid of them, but also think about growth habits, things that are going to grow who you are and take care of who you are internally. Hydration, drinking water, taking in good liquids, I don't know, coconut water, whatever else, water with lemon. Hydrate though. The second is prayer meditation. There is more. We are not the most powerful being in this world. There is God, our creator, and he cares about us and he wants us to come to him in prayer and meditation and take time to slow down, hear from him and talk to him, right? Also boundaries, okay? It is growth to have boundaries. Everyone doesn't get to take from you and pull from you at all times. It's okay to have boundaries in different areas. Boundaries with yourself too, like I'd set a boundary with myself with like spending, right? Because it is a way of self-care to make sure your finances are intact, right? Also, eating real food. That's a growth habit. Let's try to eat. Let's, get some whole foods in our diet. Snacks aren't, I'm not saying like you can't have a single packaged food ever again, but having whole foods be more abundant in your life than processed foods. Okay. Also, I say all of this, right, as things that we want to try, but also letting go of perfectionism. We're not going to be perfect. We don't need to stress ourselves out trying to be perfect. You're allowed to look a little bit undone. Your hair doesn't always have to be perfectly set in place, right? And you can be in process with different things. Some of us are trying to lose weight, get stronger, get a new career, uh, reorganize our relationships and set boundaries. There's so many things that we're working on to develop who we are. We are all a work in progress. Even those who you look up to, they have things that they're working on. And so it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to be a work in progress. Just rest in that and keep moving forward. Your healing isn't always going to be visible. That's the other thing I want to say. But it doesn't mean that it's not happening, right? And so as you're trying to restore your hair, your health, and all of these other things, just know that it's not always going to be visible on the surface. It's happening on the inside. And the best kind of healing is and restoration is what happens from the inside out, not the kind that's just superficial, right? Because we can all do different things to look rested or to look like we have joy or to look like we have it all together financially or otherwise. But really, what's going on the inside is what's important. So, On the topic of hair, in the Bible, it says in Luke chapter 12, verse 7, even the hairs on your head are all numbered. So, like I said before, God cares about you. He sees you. He knows your needs. He knows about your hair loss. He knows about your weight gain, but He also cares about your heart and your mind and what's going on in there. And so, I want to remind you that all of the things going on with our midlife changes, with hair specifically, I'm talking about in this episode, just know that God sees your hair loss. He sees your emotional losses, your financial losses, your relational losses, and He counts the things that have fallen and He redeems what feels forgotten. Okay. And so this isn't just about regrowth of our hair, right? This is about just reclaiming our peace overall. That crown, that beautiful hair that God gave you, or maybe you have shaved all your hair off and you still have a crown, right? He gave it to you. It's still yours. And even when it feels a little thinner, a little different, or a little even removed, it's still there. You're still that crowned royalty. And I just want you to remember that. Now, if this episode hit home at all and you you benefited from just one thing that I said, I want you to know you don't have to navigate healthy changes alone. I'm inviting you to do two powerful things. One, follow me on Instagram and let's chat. Send me a DM. Let me know what you thought about this episode, what takeaway you have, what questions you may have. I'm at in.herhealth on Instagram. And I also want you to join my challenges. I have a kitchen reset challenge to help you reset your kitchen so that you can have more function and flow and begin eating whole foods and make just the whole nutrition and meal planning thing a little bit easier. Okay. And also, I'd love to know, what more do you want to hear about hair and hormone in your life? Let me know what you want to know. I would love to continue to share more about hair and how our hormones impact our hair and the things that we can do to keep our hair strong and healthy, and also our skin and things like that I'll talk about in other episodes. So you deserve healing. You deserve to feel amazing. And it all starts with giving yourself grace and resting in the fact that you are seen and you are known and you are not forgotten. Till next time, have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I will see you on the next episode. I really hope that you found this episode helpful. If you know someone that would benefit from hearing this episode, please share it with them. Please follow and please leave me a review. I hope to see you on Instagram. Send me a DM. Let me know your thoughts. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week.